everyone. So, adulting is hard, and one of our first experiences with it is figuring out what to do after high school. You know, walking on that stage, shaking your principal's hand, accepting the responsibility the rest of your life. That's a slap of reality. So what do? That's what I want to talk about today. So let's get started. Actually, before we get started, if you could hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those noties, I'd really appreciate it. So the transition from high school is seen as one of your first moves into adulthood. Do you go to college? How do you pay for college? I need money now. I gotta pay bills. Do I get a job? What kind of job? There's just a ton of questions and choices to face during this time. So I want to go over some of the options and weigh out the decisions to hopefully provide some insight or at least open up some options you didn't know you had. I want to go over these 4 big categories: higher education, trade schools, starting your career, and entrepreneurship. Now, I'm sure there are other routes out there, but after putting some thought into it, these were the options that I could see someone planning for and taking directly out of high school. Before we go over these options, I want to highlight the main things to consider when choosing which route is best for you. Very first thing you're going to want to think of is, what do you need? Everyone's in a different situation. You know, some people are struggling to get by on their own. Others are still living with their parents, getting the bills paid, getting food on the table. You know, everyone's different. You gotta make sure your needs are met. That takes precedent. That's the first question. And it's an easy one, you know. You should know if you have a roof over your head and food on the table. The next questions is where it gets tricky because the freedom of adulthood, choice. So the next question, what is your passion? How do you know what you want to do before you've done it? The good thing is you don't have to know. It just helps to have an idea. This is where you gotta, put in some elbow grease and start doing your research. YouTubing and Googling, those are great resources. Look at the jobs you think you might like because you want to know what their day-to-day responsibilities are and make sure it aligns with your personality traits. What do I mean by that? You don't want to end up managing 100 people if you're not a people person, right? You want to like what you do, or at least let it be tolerable. Some people, they know what they want to do. Boom, they're ready. All right, Luis, what's the next question? But other people, they might not know. And for you, it's okay. Remember, you're young. If you find something that you think you like, and then once you start learning about it and getting into the weeds, you find out, this ain't for me. I've been there. I went to college. That was my route, right? I spent my first year at one degree. 4 years later, I graduated with something else. It's okay. You can switch it up. Don't worry. Take a deep breath. Next question you gotta ask yourself is, what kind of lifestyle do I want? If you're monetarily driven, you're gonna have to think about what career is gonna put you on track to get to that financial success faster. And lastly, this is a really, you gotta dig in yourself and find out an answer. What are you willing to sacrifice, and how much work are you willing to put in to get to that career you want? Everyone can say they want to be a rock star, but not everyone's willing to live on your friend's couch and put every penny you have into a chance of making it. All right, enough fluff. Let's get into why you fell for this clickbait. I'm kidding. This isn't clickbait. Please don't think that. I put in some time to get ready for this video. So let's go over the list of all the options and the pros and cons that go with each decision. The first thing people think of when they think about graduating high school is college. And that's a great option. It's not the only one, but it's a great option. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that 66% of high school graduates in 2019 went to college. So why college? College is an accelerant. What that means is it's gonna get you to where you wanna go faster.
Nice.
So instead of taking 30 years to gain all the knowledge and experience it takes to become qualified for a high-level position, you can get there in 10. For a lot of jobs, the barrier to get in is a college degree, especially in some fields more than others. Georgetown University did an in-depth review on job growth and education requirements, and they found that 35% of jobs in 2020 needed a bachelor's degree and 30% needed some college to an associate's. College also serves as an income boost. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS from now on, found that the weekly average income for someone with a high school degree is $720. Some college to associates, $780, and a bachelor's, it jumps up to $1,200. And lifetime earnings, comparing a bachelor's to high school degree, you can see a difference of up to $1 million. Now, having said that, college isn't $1 million ticket. It does come with debt, and that can be a rabbit hole that we'll get into in a second. I don't want to scare you away though. There are huge benefits to college, it's invaluable. It was a great experience for me, not just educationally, but life. I learned a lot living on my own and just going through the hoops, meeting people from all over the world. But, this is the sunny side. Let's talk about the negatives. And there's two big negatives. One, the cost. If you don't leverage college right, and this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, you gotta make sure that if you're paying high bucks, you're going for a job that also pays high bucks. Because you don't want to end up with this large amount of debt that just cripples you and you can never grow financially in life. And then the other negative is it does take time. 4 years is a long time. And if college isn't necessarily what you see yourself doing, or you think you want to pursue a degree that's not really gonna pay off, maybe you gotta wait till you have the money to pay for that, and just put the brakes in and think about your situation, because 4 years, you can do a lot in 4 years without going to college. So circling back here a little bit, the average cost of a 4-year university per year is $32,000. That's a lot of cheddar. One way to circumvent this cost is community college. Community college is a great, cheaper option. It's still not cheap. The average cost here in Arizona is around $8,000. That's a huge discount, and a degree is a degree. No matter where you get it from, it's gonna open doors for you. So if you're not getting that financial help for college, your parents, financial aid, you have to take out too many loans, maybe community college is something you really want to think about. So let's say you've made up your mind. You want to go to a 4-year college. That's awesome. Congrats. Let's do this. How do we handle the cost? Well, there's a few routes we can go here. There's the grinding route. It's not going to be easy, but you get a job, you go full-time, part-time, and you slowly chip away at the cost of the school so that you can go year by year and pay that baby out. It's gonna take a lot of sacrifice, and it's not easy, but it's doable. Another thing, scholarships. Now, when you usually apply to a college, you automatically apply to their scholarships, but there are a ton of scholarships out there that you can apply to. If you're in high school now, I honestly recommend junior year, start looking at scholarships and hit one at least once a month, twice a month. There's an app called Scholly. You can Google it. It's CHOLLY. I'll put a link in the description. They're awesome. You make an account with them and they match your credentials with scholarships that you can apply for, and you just gotta bang them out. It's a great resource. Do yourself the favor, get that free cheddar. Another option here is FAFSA. That's an application you send to the government, and then they tell you based on your income and financial situation how many scholarships or grants or subsidized loans they can get you into. Now, something I just said, loans. That is a sticky situation. You want to make sure if you're considering loans that you know what you're doing. Subsidized versus unsubsidized, personal loans, what the heck is a rate? You know, there's a ton to get in there, and I would love to do that, but honestly for this video, it's just too much. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to make a video in the future. College isn't for everybody, and that is 100% okay. Another option to go look at besides college are trade schools. What is a trade school? A trade school is a school specifically tied to some type of job, and it trains you on that one job and usually ends in some sort of certification. Trade schools cover a wide range of jobs and industries. You name it, you could probably find some type of trade school for it, and you can make a great living going to a trade school. So what are the benefits of trade school? Well, first of all, it's a focused education in exactly what you want to learn, and that's pretty cool. Compared to college, it's usually shorter, anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, and it's definitely cheaper. An average cost of a trade school is around 33 grand. That sounds like a lot and it sounds like the university, but that's for the entire cost of the trade school. Where university, you're gonna pay 33 grand for 1 year. Multiply it times 4, you're paying over 100 racks. And community, it's gonna be comparable, still a little bit cheaper probably. So if you have a career that you're interested in and you don't think college is for you, a trade school is definitely something you want to look into. There are some negatives to a trade school though. It isn't free, right? I just covered the cost. That's not inexpensive. It still costs money, but it can be worth it. Another negative with trade schools are you don't get that college degree. You get a certification, but those don't often carry the weight that a college degree does and get you that foot in the door to get that interview. Degrees look good on resumes, really. That's what they're for. Now, that is very career dependent. Some careers, trade schools are very typical, and as soon as you got that certification, boom, you're in. We can go into more detail. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you want. That about wraps it up for all the post-high school education routes. Let's see some other options that we have that don't involve paying for a tuition, paying for an education. Jumping straight into the workforce right out of high school is something around 1 out of 3 people do, and sometimes circumstances demand it. You can even do higher education at the same time. Again though, that's not the easy path. If you go down this route, you're going to want to do your upfront research, and remember, you're in it for the long haul. Going directly into the workforce does have its drawbacks. You generally don't start with that high income, high status. You have to take an introductory job and then work your way to the experienced positions. It may seem like you're getting a financial head start compared to a college student, but if you don't plan right and fight for your check, you could easily end up with the same pay that you had 4 years ago and make no gains.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
The plus side is what you do gain are those almighty years of experience that you can slap onto your resume. If you have a strong work ethic, you can grow a career relatively fast and get to a point of success that you're happy with. And if you don't go to school, you don't have any loans. The downsides are that on average, over the lifetime of your career, you end up making less than someone that went to college. It also takes someone with a lot of initiative and determination. You have to fight to earn more money and grow your career. If you choose this route, don't let yourself get stuck in a job that doesn't have any potential for growth. This leads into the next topic, the sexy, not so sexy dream of being your own boss.
Yeah, boy.
Being an entrepreneur is so enticing because the potentials are limitless. But you have to know, with high reward comes high risk. This is not the route for someone that's directionless and insecure. You have to know that the beginning is gonna be a rough start and you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot. Common entrepreneur opportunities are stuff like real estate, insurance agencies, and businesses focused around some commerce/product. And the benefits of entrepreneurship are beautiful. Once you get your business established, you really define what your work is. You put into it as much as you want to get out of it. The problem is getting to that point. Being an entrepreneur requires a lot of sacrifice at the beginning, and it often requires you to have some side gig that supplements your income so you can pay your bills and eat. Overall, the average income of an entrepreneur is around $50,000. But remember, you're gonna have to cover all of your healthcare costs and your retirement savings, which you want to do. So again, entrepreneurship is attractive. Just make sure you know the risk and are willing to put in the work. It's cliche, but it's very true. In the end, it's really up to you. That's the beautiful and scary part of making your own decisions as an adult. So make sure you're really putting some thought into your decisions, because ultimately, you're the one that has control of your life. Think about what you need at this moment. If you have a roof over your head and you got food on the table, think about what your passions are. Think about, where do you want your life to be in 10 years? There's so much more to go into with each choice. They really deserve their own video. If this helped at all, please take a second to hit that like button, sub me up a little bit, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Good luck, family. Stay strong. Peace.